Hey, what's up everybody? BDL44 coming at you with another video. Alright, so I'm out and about doing my walk and all of a sudden some news hit. We got two very serious trade talks. Well, two teams that are in trade talks for Bradley Beal. That's a better way to word that. You got the Phoenix Suns, who could give up Ayton and Shamet. And you got the Miami Heat, who could give up Duncan Robinson and Kyle Lowry. Now, this is just in theory. There are a lot of other ways that can make that happen, but those are the easiest ways to make that trade happen. Obviously, you would expect those teams would throw some sweeteners on there, maybe some future picks to make it sweet for the Washington Wizards, because I don't really think you're excited about those players if you're taking the Miami deal. Maybe Ayton, you might see Ayton as a plus for the Washington Wizards, give them a whole new look there with DeAndre Ayton. I'm not so mad at that. Maybe you flip him to a third team if you want to go a different route. There are a lot of different things these teams could do to make it make sense for themselves, but the point is that Bradley Beal has a no-trade clause. So once you make this deal, you're going to have to negotiate with him if you want to move him again. And at $50+ million, you probably are going to want to move him again. But I tell you this, if I'm looking at that Miami Heat, that ain't the worst place for Bradley to go at all. I'm not too mad at that. And you know I don't like that contract for anybody. But just as a basketball fit, oh man, yeah. Especially since they're about to lose Gabe Vincent, likely something like that. You upgrade majorly if you bring in Bradley Beal. And you like yourself against some of these teams that you don't necessarily play well against right now. The Denver Nuggets only team basically beat everybody else. But I don't think you lose anything. You still have the ability to keep all the pieces that you had, because those pieces are simply guys on not rookie contracts, but mid-level guys, 1 year, $1 million guys that you're likely going to be able to resign because of the success you just had. Probably at a similar price, because they really didn't demand much more. Now, you're going to lose a Caleb Martin, something like that. And that's why you're bringing in Bradley Beal to upgrade all the way around. So this is thrilling for the Heat. Problem is, I don't know how the hell they make that deal, because I don't want Kyle Lowry's contract. And Duncan Robinson's contract ain't no good either. So that's one of those situations like, I'm going to have to throw in some future sweeteners. And I don't know what Miami's draft situation looks like right now. I have no idea if they look good, if they have a bunch of picks to give, or if they've already done wrong in that regard. So I'd imagine since they drafted Bam, that might be a trade piece. Maybe instead of, if for some reason no one wants to take Kyle Lowry, maybe you have to throw in Bam to make this happen, as to which I'm like, no go. I'm not throwing in Bam to bring in a shooter. If I'm Miami, you have too much of your identity wrapped up in having that defensive player in place. No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I'm not saying that I wouldn't, in a nutshell, rather have Bradley Beal than Bam, because I probably would. But for the Miami Heat, you have your identity in place. And once you remove that rim protector, you're just going to be shooting a bunch of shots. You're not even yourself no more. So for me, I got to bring Bradley Beal to Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo. That's how I'm looking at it. And I'm getting rid of Duncan Robinson. And I'm getting rid of Kyle Lowry if possible. Maybe I got to throw in somebody else. I don't know how I'd do that. That somebody else would be Nikola Jovic, because he's more likely to be seen as something that on a rookie contract you could probably bring into Washington, bring him to the young core that they're going to be rebuilding with. And if I'm Miami, I'm going to be hesitant to give him that. But if I don't have any future picks to give him, that's probably the only thing I can really do. So I don't know that Miami can actually win this negotiation process, or whatever you call it. I don't know if they can win the trade sweepstakes here for Bradley, because at the end of the day, at least with Ayton, you have a more proven player. You could throw Ayton out there with the Washington Wizards, depending on what else they have. You might actually think yourself can maybe make a play-in tournament game or something like that with Ayton, so who knows, right? But at the end of the day, for me personally, I would rather see Bradley in Miami than Phoenix, because at the end of the day, Phoenix Suns, I'm a Western Conference fan. I do not want to see Devin Booker and Bradley Beal on the same team. I'm telling y'all, I do not want to see that. Now, granted, it's kind of the same thing in a way for the Miami Heat to be giving up the Phoenix Suns to be giving up their center in Ayton, as for the Heat to be giving away their center as well. You know, Bam Adebayo, Ayton, they make up a good portion of what their identity is. But at the end of the day, if you know me, my talk in regards to the Phoenix Suns is try to build around KD and Booker. You can move Ayton and replace him with whatever center you want, because of the style of play that they're going to be playing with. It's all about hitting buckets. You add Bradley Beal to that situation, and nearly unguardable. Nearly unguardable. And that's what you're counting on, that the team will be basically unguardable if you put those three highly efficient players together. You're going to have opportunities to basically beat anybody, no matter what style they're playing with. Now, that's what you have in theory, but problem with the Phoenix Suns is they have no depth. So if you're going to bring a team together like that, all three of those players making max money, your bench is going to be horrible, like it was last year. So Josh Okogie's player like that, they're going to have to play better. So I'm not really sure how that's going to work, honestly, you guys. But if he goes to Miami, it seems like a better fit for me. At least they have a little more defensive presence in place, situations that you can count on a bit more than otherwise you would if for some reason you gutted everything in your Phoenix and you already got those two max players on deck. It just becomes a situation where you're really not sure how you're going to find that depth. So, yeah, Miami, they have a bit more proven players on lesser contracts to make the explosiveness of Bam's, Jimmy, and, of course, Bradley's contracts make sense for their team. More depth, unlimited contracts, the continuity of the rest of those players. It'll be an easy system for Bradley to come into. Phoenix, starting from scratch. No proven players that can really do anything outside of those three. It's only going to be them doing it my turn, your turn, my turn, your turn, my turn, your turn, as to which they'll figure it out over through, with a training camp and the course of a 82-game schedule. Plus, they do have a new coach in place. And that's going to make things very interesting to see how he would be able to use. Maybe he's a guy that can put them in a position to get the most out of themselves scoring the ball. But for me, if I'm Bradley, I want to go to Miami because Phoenix is going to have to gut too much of themselves to get him there. And at the end of the day, in doing so, I don't know that they're going to be as good as they hope to be. Even though they scare the hell out of me, because I know they're going to be damn near hard. It's impossible to guard and could probably score 170 points a game with that type of trio. Breaking records with efficiency and all kinds of stuff. You got Devin Booker, Bradley Beal, and Kevin Durant on the same damn team. But at the end of the day, if you can't put the rest of the stuff around them, you're asking them to do those things. Rebounding, blocking shots, continuity playing, all of those things. Now, these players they're geniuses, man. So I'm not really worried about them getting assists for one another. KD's a pretty good facilitator if he needs to be. Bradley Beal's an unselfish player, even though he's scoring the ball. So I'm not too worried about them finding ways of making it work amongst each other. But the rest of the team and the injury issues that you can expect to have happen with KD and Beal alone make it so that you don't really think this is the best way to build. But they seem like they're ready to swing for the fences over there in Phoenix. And they've been, itching on getting their first championship. They have yet to do so. So I expect that when they get an opportunity to get over the hump, if they believe that piece can get them there, they're likely going to pull the trigger on that. So that's what I'm looking at right now in regards to these teams. Granted, there's more to look at in regards to other opportunities that may arrive from the notion that Bradley Beal is now officially on the move. But I think his trade clause locks it into only a few teams. Having a no-trade clause makes it so that you can't get rid of him even if it makes sense to do so. And for a lot of teams, I can see them saying, nah, we ain't doing that. Heck no, we ain't doing that. So I'm just one of those teams. As a Laker fan, I don't want us to do that. And I honestly believe if we do the right thing in regards to our very own team, we'll still be able to defend some of these teams that are trying to throw everything they can together to put themselves in a position to have a champion. You may be able to get that champion if you get lucky in health. But at the end of the day, if you're going to deplete yourself with centers, how the hell are you going to guard Jokic? BDL 44. I thank you all for watching.